Well, hello and welcome to the Receipt Paper Podcast. My name is JoJo, and today I have an extra special guest here with me. I have Jeff, who founded his company with a goal to take the payment processing industry from simply transactional to relational. Jeff is the founder of Pay Proudly, and his mission is twofold: to provide business owners with payment clarity, to support communities through charity. Throughout his career, he saw that there was a gap in the marketplace for relational support in the payment processing, and payment processing is the lifeblood of a business. And Jeff and his team are passionate about educating business owners on how important having the right payment processor is for your business. As an industry disruptor, Jeff is on a mission to bring Pay It Forward into the payment sector as well. Pay Proudly leverages their 25 plus years of industry experience and reputation in the payment space to provide financial charity to nonprofits. Love that. Jeff, I am so excited to have you here today. This is a huge topic that I do get asked about a lot, and I have really little to no knowledge on. So I'm excited to have you on.
Well, thank you so much, JoJo, for having me. I'm looking forward to being on your show today, and we can talk all kinds of experience about payment processing. So,
Yeah.
more than happy to go down any trail you want to go down on that industry.
I love it. I love it. Well, Jeff, why don't you just start by sharing a little bit of about with us about your background of how you founded this company?
Yeah, so I got into the business in the mid 90s when I was in college, studying finance at St. Louis University, and I had an opportunity to go sell some payments in the afternoons and weekends, and so I started doing that, and out of college, what I think is probably the best advice I've ever had in my life. My dad looked at me and said, "Hey, you can always go get a job." He's like, you're always gonna be able to do that, but right now you have no ties, you've got no responsibilities, and start your own business. You've always wanted to work for yourself, and start your own business right now while before you make enough to where it's too hard to take that risk. And
Yes.
um, and so that's what I did. It was the summer of 1999, and I started my first payments company. And since then, we've
Awesome.
started multiple payment companies. We've bought a few companies. We've sold some companies. We've started a check processing company, and we're able to sell that. And we've had partnerships along the way. And I was involved in a partnership. And about 3 years ago, we had the opportunity to split up and start another new payment company. And so I promised my wife this would be the last one, right? So, startups are always, I think entrepreneurs thrive on startups.
Yeah.
It's fun, it's challenging. You kind of get back into sectors of the business that you haven't been in a long time.
Yeah.
Because you get to these management levels where you're not in the guts of the business. So it's been a lot of fun. And we've just been organically growing, going out, feet on the street, knocking on doors, getting in vertical spaces, doing different things, and just bringing a light of information to business owners. This
Mhm.
industry has become, I tell people this all the time, but it has that kind of used car salesman kind of feeling to it.
Mhm.
And
It
it's like
does.
the necessary evil, right? Like, I've got to take payments, but nobody really understands it.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to take the time to learn to actually be in the business and know the owners and know the employees and give them that extra attention that they deserve and that they need.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. That was, I mean, when my wife and I sat down, she said, "What's the biggest need in your industry?" And I says, "Information." People, business owners don't understand it, and so we really go above and beyond of really, working with our merchants and holding their hands and talking to them and really walking them through payments. And when they have chargebacks, helping them with chargebacks. When they have issues with equipment, helping them and answering the phones and just giving that extra service, level service. And we'll never grow to be the massive company that some of these guys are going to, but that's not our intention. Our intention is to
Mhm.
to really know our customers and really give them that extra level of service. And the charitable giving was just something that was important to my wife and I. It was a value that we had, and we wanted to start a company from the day one and say, this company has got a give back feature to it, and this is how we're going to manage it. What we
Cool.
didn't know is we thought information was going to be more important, right? Clarity around payments. What we have found is the charitable giving is such a big piece of our business. We have
Yeah.
employees that want to work for us because of our charitable giving. We have businesses that
Wow.
want to do business with us because they feel like they're giving through our giving, because it's
Mhm.
because of their business that we're able to give. And so it's been very rewarding. It's fantastic. That was not our intention, but it's awesome to see that humanity, right, like you said in the
Yeah.
beginning, it's just seeing that people really want to do it. It's just taking that courage to actually do it. So
I love
it's been a
that.
lot of fun.
That's incredible. I love that that's like the backbone of your business, and I love that you touched on the information factor because that's something you're so right. Like I've never seen that in payment processing. We've owned a business, been in the brick and mortar business world for 5 or 6 years now, and anytime we've needed payment processing, it's really just kind of like all
Yeah,
these people coming at you trying to get you to sign the dotted line and never talk to you
yeah,
again. And
that's right.
so that is so unique and something I've not seen in this industry yet, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's, the majority of this industry, right, is the guy that walks in the door and signs you up and he leaves and you never see him again.
Yes.
Or you went to your bank and you signed up with your
Yeah.
bank, and face it, banks are awesome and they do a great job, but they're great at loans and they're great at bank accounts.
Mhm.
And if you call them for support on your payments, they don't know because it's not what they've
Mhm.
been trained to do. And this
Yeah.
is our space. This is what we do. And we work with a lot of local banks because they just they don't want to give the level of service that we're giving. And when you get in these
Mhm.
smaller communities and you really give that level of service, that word gets out pretty fast.
Yeah.
And you start building
Yeah.
your business around that. And so, and face it, different business types should be processing payments different ways. There's not one size that fits all in this industry.
Yeah.
And there's
Mhm.
different systems, there's different reporting, there's different abilities, and there's different ways to process payments today. you can
Mhm.
you can process payments today and recoup all your fees if you do it compliant and you do it right, but that's not for every business. And so
Mhm.
we just want to talk through all those things with our business owners and really make sure they understand what they can do, what they can't do, and what's best for them, and then us keeping up with the industry too, right?
Mhm.
And that's a big deal, is just the industry is evolving, it's changing, rules are changing, and they have a
Mhm.
company behind them that's keeping up with that, and
Yeah.
and learning
Yeah.
and going to these shows and knowing what to do and what they can and can't do.
That's
So
huge. I like that. I like that. So
yeah.
for those that are listening, we've got, some that are just starting out that, are still
Yeah.
learning what to look for, and then some that maybe have been in business for a while but haven't even thought about their payment processing in a while. So tell
Yeah.
us, what should people be even looking for in a payment processor?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is knowing that when they're out there looking in new businesses, a lot of new businesses go the Square route, right? Square is easy. It's fast to mind. You see it. And I'm
Mhm.
going to sit here. I tell business owners all the time, you should go process on Square, um, because there's just certain businesses that's right. And when you're starting a new
Mhm.
business and you don't have many transactions coming in, there's no reason to pay for a service when you can go over here and be set up and be able to use it. It's going to cost you a little bit more per transaction, but you're
Mhm.
not going to have any monthly fees. And maybe you don't need that right now. And I think it's
Yeah.
really just working with somebody who will tell you that stuff, right? That will be
Mhm.
honest and say, hey, I don't want
Mhm.
to just make money on you to make money on you. I want it to be right.
Yeah.
I want it to be, and really go through what you're doing. And if you're talking to a credit card processing company and all they're doing is quoting rates and fees to you and they've not asked you anything about your business, they're
Mhm.
just quoting a generic option to you. And
Yeah.
they really should be asking, what kind of business are you? What kind of credit cards do you think
Mhm.
you're going to take? You think it'll be, and being in the industry, right? I can look at a business and say, well, you're probably going to take more commercial cards. So there's ways we can get commercial card rates down, right? And
Mm.
so there's ways we can do different things. And so we really need you've got to learn their business before you can give anybody a true proposal or even talk to them about their payments. And if you're not being
Mhm.
asked those questions, if they're doing all the talking, I'd probably look for somebody else that
Yeah.
learns business a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. As you're walking through it, I'm like, man, I never had that. I had the
Yeah.
opposite. So yes, that makes so much
And
sense.
there's so many different ways you can take payments today, right? Or you can take payments on
Yeah.
your website. You can take payments at a counter. You can take payments on a cell phone. You can take payments. There's just so many ways to take payments through
Mhm.
invoices, through QuickBooks, through all
Mhm.
these different integrations. And so every different business is different. And if they're not
Mhm.
asking those questions, it's just not, it's not the right, person, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the support piece earlier, and I think it's
Yeah.
so important and it's fresh on my mind because most recently we have a booking tool that we're required to use Stripe for them.
Yeah.
That tool, and we had a customer who it was totally our fault. We charged them twice. And I was just going through the support with Stripe, like, hey, refund this customer. It was our fault. And oh my goodness, I think it took 2 months of
Yeah.
them questioning us. Well, are you sure? We don't see that this customer was, and it was just, I think what it happened was like one was her husband and one was her, and they didn't see it on there. And I was like,
Mhm.
I just want to give this person her money back and you're making it so hard. So, I mean, just like when you're in those situations where you're going to lose a customer for life, like that support is huge.
Yeah, and we have phone calls all the time like that, and there are integrations out there that require different things that we can't support,
Mhm.
but we have integrations with a lot of point of sale systems that don't allow refunds, and we get phone calls all the time. Hey, can you help me with this refund? And we walk our merchants through that. We'll call the processor. We can get the credit card information. We can log on to a virtual terminal, and we can process that refund for them. It's a 5-minute phone call. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But it's taking the time to walk through that process with a merchant helping them out. You're not going to get that with Stripe. You're not going to get that with Square. You're not going to get that with these big, huge companies. And that's
Yeah.
a difference maker. It's just
Yeah.
a huge deal because I want my business owners doing what they do. Go
Yes.
build your business. Let us do what we do.
Yeah. 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 That was a headache I did not want to spend time doing for
Yes,
sure.
I get it. I get it. Dealing with
Yes.
chargebacks is a lot the same way, right? It's
Yeah.
helping our
Yeah.
merchants through that process. There's a process, and saying things the right way and submitting the right information can big time increase your chances of winning chargebacks. And we help our
Yeah.
merchants with that. We walk them through it.
I love that.
So.
So how do you know? Talk to me about when do you know you've outgrown your payment solution or when you should maybe look for something different?
Yeah, I think, when once you get to that where you're processing more, if you're start a new startup and you're on Square and you get to that $10,000 a month, like, you're starting to process $5,000 to $10,000 a month, the processing, your business is starting to grow, you see things happening, that would be the time to switch. If
Mhm.
you're a new business and you're doing $2,000 or $3,000 a month of processing, you're probably better off to just stay where you're at.
Mhm. Yeah, makes sense.
So,
Definitely.
and really it's because of the monthly fees. There's the,
Mhm.
ISOs. So we're an independent sales organization. Well, we have monthly fees associated with every merchant account. So we can save you money on rates and fees, but our monthly fees are going to, bring that effective cost back up a little bit. And that's what I'm always talking to merchants about. Don't look at the whole, look at what your effective rate is. What does it effectively cost your business to take payments? That's the number that every business owner should have in their mind. They should know that, that I took X amount of credit cards this month, the volume, I paid this much in fees. That's an easy math transaction there, to say this is effectively, if it's 2.78%, it's 2.78%. That's what it costs you to take credit cards.
Like,
So
yeah.
business owners should know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it adds up month over month for sure.
It adds up. Yeah. And there's a lot
So,
of things coming out to get around some of that stuff now with
mhm.
surcharging, dual pricing, and different things. And those are, real
Mm.
conversations that we should be having with business owners.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Yeah. I think it would be silly not to have those conversations when
That's
it's
right.
something, every transaction is affected at your business, right?
That's right.
So, what advice do you have for those that are out there seeking payment processing?
Yeah, I think my biggest piece of advice to these business owners is make some phone calls and really do your homework on it. It's a
Mhm.
big part of your business. Don't gloss over it because you think other parts are bigger.
Yeah.
The income that you're making in your business is number one, right? If your business is making money, and so make sure you're partnering with the right people, asking
Mhm.
questions, making sure they're asking you the right questions, and make sure you're getting set up the proper way. Really do your homework on it. Spend a little bit of time, talk to multiple people in the industry, and talk about how you're going to be taking payments, who your customers are, what you want out of taking payments. Do you want, some businesses don't want reporting and inventory and all this stuff. And, so it's make sure you know what you're looking for before you start looking.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think when my very first business, we just knew we needed to process payments and I just needed a
Yeah,
way to do it. And I just talked to one person, was like, I signed up and, I didn't think about it for years later. So,
that's right.
I think that's really good advice to kind of slow down in there. It does make a difference on your business and who you wind up going with.
Yeah, we tell people all the time, conversations are free, right? Get on
Yeah,
the phone and give us a call, call somebody else. But conversations don't cost anything. So,
I love that.
um, talk to us and see what you think.
That's great. I love that. So, Jeff, I know people listening to this are going to want to have a conversation with you, especially after all the incredible things you shared today. So, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, so obviously check out our website, payproudly.com. It talks all about what we're doing, how we're doing it. They can shoot me an email, jmaine, and it's spelled just like the state, MAINE at payproudly.com. Or you check me out on LinkedIn. Friend me on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn every day, checking it and making sure what's going on out there in that space. And so that's a good space to find me at. And my LinkedIn is linkedin.com/n/, Jeff Main. So would love to just have conversations with them and see what we can do to answer their questions.
Perfect. If you are interested in looking at payment processing or you already own a business and maybe you want to review what you currently have with Jeff, I highly recommend reaching out to him. I will
Yeah.
link all of those links in the show notes so you can easily contact him. But Jeff, thank you so much for coming on today. This was really helpful.
Yeah, thank you so much. And like you said, if any of the listeners just want to have a conversation, please reach out. We would love to just walk them through, and whether they do business with us or not, there's no strings attached. So,
I like that.
but look forward to helping anybody who would like to have a little bit of help.
Wonderful. Thanks again, Jeff.
Thank you.